Singapore's non-oil domestic exports grew 9.7% on year last month, with the pharmaceutical sector giving exports a booster shot. The result was above analyst expectations and marks a third consecutive month of expansion. But there's also a warning that the outlook for the rest of the year remains grim. Michelle Teo reports.
Circuit breaker measures implemented in April haven't dampened Singapore's growth engine. That's because most companies plugged into global supply chains were still operating. Pharmaceutical export was the star performer, growing more than 170%, but it also came from a low base. It also helped boost exports to most of Singapore's top 10 markets. Sales of pharmaceutical products jumped more than 400% to markets like the European Union and more than 800% to Japan. But one economist warns the growth in pharmaceutical exports has very little positive spin-off.
This particular industry is known to be very technology capital intensive. The number of employments in pharmaceutical industry is also comparatively lesser compared to many other industry. It is quite silo on its own because of the very stringent requirement in the production process. Most of the so-called services or materials that are required are very well contained within this industry.
Even then, economists say in the near term, pharmaceutical exports will still drive growth. However, other exports like electronics are beginning to slow. Demand for personal computers, disk drives and diodes and transistors turned weak, pushing down electronic exports by 0.6%. It reversed the 5.8% growth the previous month.
Semiconductors exports rose by 10%. Seems to suggest that there is some demand due to the work-from-home policies. But looking ahead, I don't think smartphone sales or consumer electronics would do well during this COVID-19 outbreak.
Singapore exports also found it hard to penetrate some regional markets.
Exports to regional countries like Malaysia and Indonesia plunged by more than 20% in April. And that was the lowest level that we've seen for both countries since 2003. And it seems to suggest that the impact of the lockdowns in these two countries, because of the rapid spread of COVID-19 in April, had impacted their imports significantly.
Economists believe the worst is also not over for sectors like manufacturing. That's because they say the global outlook remains challenging and the external headwinds remain very strong. They say these will weigh down on exports and the manufacturing sector.